What's going on, everybody? It is the Lesser Rings crew back on Dimension 119, and yeah, we're gonna play more Lesser Rings, as I say, because it's the Lesser Rings crew. Why would we play anything else with the Lesser Rings crew? We used to, but we're all too busy lately to get any community nights or Among Us or Pico Park or anything. I'm looking at you guys, hoping that we can get something like that going. I'm just throwing that out there
Oh, I thought you were
right now.
calling me out because I have been playing Among Us.
No, I'm throwing that out there in the hopes that one of you will be like, "Yeah, man, we should do something like that." But yeah,
I'm
uh,
always down.
we're gonna be playing some Adventures in Middle Earth. Kevin is our lore master. He's cosplaying as Sauron today because his cam is messing up. So we're
Actually,
just
that's
gonna
just what
have
Kevin looks like.
it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Kevin. Kevin, it's all yours. Get us started and let's play some Lesser Rings.
Ray, how would you know what I look like? You've never met me in person.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Welcome, everybody. I hope everything technical is working well enough. My other laptop is not working, and this laptop won't sustain the camera at all. I'm just hoping it still holds the sound. However, it's great to be back. The story has taken a bit of a hiatus recently due to life happening, mostly Nathan's actual work. Um, however, we want to progress on. We want to move on. Last time, the the battle with the undead soldiers and the white that emerged from out of the water at their campsite ended. The difficulty wasn't so much in the defeating of the undead warriors. The difficulty came in the resolution between Marikar and Aurelion. For Marikar's fury and bloodlust appeared to get the most of him. The high elf, worried that he was about to strike down his cousin in his bloodlust, decided to attack Marikar. This fueled Marikar's fury and blinded him somewhat as Rook, not quite sure what was happening, decided to help his cousin and also attacked Marikar at this time. As I said, this wasn't very helpful as Damrod tried to appease the situation. But at this point, a lot of built up tension with Marikar and Aurelion appeared to be released, and they struck at each other once more. Aurelion lashing out with the power of his elven blood, Marikar with the fury that still boiled within his blood. Aurelion, I believe, fell to Marikar's blow, causing great tension amongst the group and stress for those around. It was resolved in some way or another by the end, or at least appeased, as you completed your final rest. You travelled for half a day after this, finally coming within sight of the ruined city, the ruined capital of the Dunedain, long since abandoned since the wars with Angmar. Turning north in some sort of hope of finding some sign of where the Rangers will be stationed in a hope to finally find Damrod's father. It was on that trail north, wandering, perhaps lost, heading towards the North Downs, that they were found by fellow Rangers who hailed the company, and that is where we left off last time. Is there anything that I missed out from that recap? Anything that anyone else would like to continue with?
No, that pretty much covered it. Hate you, Nate. Love you, buddy.
It all had to happen.
It had to happen.
I couldn't let it happen, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Thankfully, for the audience watching, thankfully, I have pretty much 100% trust in the players that we have here, that whatever happened was very organic, very natural within the story and within their characters, and that they had already discussed this happening and were happy with how it went. The drama was, I think, tense, which is excellent. So,
Putting it lightly.
standing upon a ledge just off to your right, off to your left, stands two tall, cloaked and hooded figures who hail you. Damrod, did they call you by name last time?
I don't think so. I don't remember for sure, but I don't think they did.
Okay. How is it that you are all traveling? I always tend to imagine rookies at the front skirting around.
Stay close to me, bud.
Yeah.
Marika usually at the back looking out.
Yeah, I'll still be back there.
We want him in the back.
See,
That's where he'd go. Are you going to challenge him on that?
No.
Not today.
Marikar can have whatever he wants.
He's dangerous to the elves, as it were.
Fragile glass bones.
It's
Come on, who can't take an axe swing to the head? Come on.
Aurelian.
Jeez.
I mean, it's either Aurelion can make your head go pop, or Marika who can make your head go swish.
Yeah, he'll pop your head like a pimple. He will.
Called him the juicer in high school.
Isn't that one of Marikar's names?
I think so.
I don't think that's what they meant though.
Yeah.
That's what I took it as.
So, describe what Rook and Aurelion. You're first up. You're at the front. Describe how the two of you look as you have been traveling.
Bad.
I mean, yeah, pretty worse for wear at this point. I know at least Rook's a little more paranoid than he was before. Now he's constantly like looking over his shoulder, making sure Aurelion's not taking an axe to the dome.
Yeah, that's exactly what Aurelion's doing, but with Rook. And he's not hiding the fact that he's like looking back at Marikar.
Stare at him.
Marikar is trying his best to ignore you. So like if he catches your sight, he'd kind of give you a dirty look, but then he'd like look away.
Oh, he's giving you a dirty look back and he's not looking away.
Oh yeah, we're not. Yeah. I'll give it.
Okay.
Perhaps the reason why these two tall figures have been able to sneak upon your position or you haven't noticed them as you've been traveling.
we too busy being petty.
Yeah.
Yeah, too busy looking daggers at each other. One, in a clear voice, would say, "Hail there, travellers. We do not see many wander in these parts. What be your purpose here?" And you can
Right.
see that he and the one next to him are tall. The one next to him is extremely tall, and they have bows with arrows although not aiming at you, just down and prepared. They have hoods up with deep cowls.
I think Damrod is very. He's probably more exhausted than normal because he's not only trying to lead to this destination in a place that he hasn't been before, but he's also trying to watch the elves and watch Marikar at the same time. And every time that he sees Aurelion and Marikar doing this back and forth laser eyes at each other, he's casually trying to make it where it doesn't seem like he's doing it on purpose, but he's like stepping between and trying to break their line of sight with each other. And I think that this it's been a while of doing this, so I think that it's caused him a lot more stress and strain. So as soon as he sees that there's other rangers ahead, he speaks up and just says, "We're seeking Ranger um, Halbarad."
Are you are your hoods up at all?
Oh yeah. They
Oh,
stay up.
absolutely. Yeah, I was fixing to say the same thing.
Damrod's just not. He's trying to keep as much visual space open as he can.
Perhaps the sun being somewhat behind them at this point is making it difficult for you all to quite see the figures as they're silhouetted. The figures look.
Marikar.
No, that was an accident.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Could you imagine if I just slit you in half right now? Just wham!
Really funny.
Middle of a conversation.
This is my
This
chance.
is getting
They're
dark
distracted.
real freaking quick. Somebody's gonna have to die.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The two figures look towards each other and then look back as the tallest of the two throws back his hood and announces, "Well, Ranger, I believe you have found him then." As standing and recognizing the voice of the second as your father quite easily.
I think that Damrod smiles, seeing his father, but at that moment, he sees like Aurelion turn and give a look to Marikar, and like all of the happiness of getting here starts to fade away,
Mm-hmm.
and he starts feeling that same worry again of what's gonna happen. Of just like we just saw Aurelion try to kill Marikar, and Marikar trying to kill Aurelion. Now all that old anger at Damrod's about to come back up for all the lies about his dad being dead, and Damrod's starting to worry again about this situation.
Do you
I was,
think that matters anymore?
I was perhaps about to say, he announces to your group, your company, perhaps I am back from the dead indeed. As he
Um,
looks at the other two, at the two elves, can't quite tell that you're elves from this point, but he probably has a suspicion as this is Damrod and this is Marakar, who is also met.
Damrod takes his
Aurelian,
glasses off and starts rubbing his temples and his eyes.
yeah. Aurelian will take off his hood, and this is probably the first time he's seen what's his face? Halbarad
Halbarad.
since what happened in Aurelian. So he maybe Halbarad looks bad, but boy does Aurelian look bad compared to the last time he saw him.
Yeah. As you take off your hood, Halbrad. Indeed. Well met, Sir Aurelian. It has
Well
been
met.
some time.
And despite everything, he will reach into his pack, happen to find something for you in Rivendell, and he will pull out this little wax paper wrapped something and toss it to him. And if he opens it up, it's soap.
Ah, it has been many days since. I feel your politeness is.
It's been many days since he washed his hands.
I see your politeness has not much changed, although your disposition seems to have worsened. Did you always have that streak in your hair?
He kind of just like pushes it back a little bit and kind of like steals a look over at Rook because that's exactly what Rook said when he first saw him.
Rook at this point is just like, he's grinning, but he's also like looking very seriously at Halbrand, like, what's going to happen here? Because this is not great. She just told him to wash himself. Or he just told him to wash himself.
Well, that was you weren't here for it. That was the first thing that Aurelian said to Halbarad. He said, "I'd shake
Oh,
your hand, but I
nice.
don't think you've ever heard of soap."
Fair enough.
Well, that would explain the reason why we have travelers so far north in the Downs. You are here to see me, yes, Aurelian?
Among other things, yes. We would have been here sooner, but and he just looks back
Issues
at.
happen.
Yeah,
At
Marikar's already looking at you.
Oh, I was looking at Damrod.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'll look at you too.
I'm
I'll look
looking at Naricard, looking at Aurelion, looking at Damrod.
No, Marikar's posted up in back, kind of like an angry bouncer. You know what I mean? Just posted up.
It is very well. Let us get off the road. We shall head towards the sanctuary, towards the Tower of Twilight. It is perhaps a day from here still. The journey will be difficult.
Of course it will. I expect nothing less.
Will you be fine traveling such a difficult road, Aurelion?
He kind of just glares at Alvarad. One more day will not kill me. Elves are a bit harder to kill than that. And he will look back at Marikar at that.
1, 2. There's only a couple days left.
What, in my life?
Could be. We don't know. I'm not a prophet.
Very well. Come, let us head off then. We shall lead the way. You can update us on any news that you have.
Of course.
It was also good
And
to see you, son.
I imagine Aurelian's gonna like turn to Rook, and both of them will walk towards them. But he kind of looks back at Damrod and Marikar because he expects them. He's not quite sure what to expect. He thinks maybe they're just gonna leave, but also that doesn't seem like a thing Damrod would do.
I kind of let Aurelion go ahead of me, and I'm almost like that nonchalant buffer because I don't really have a problem with Marikar necessarily, but in my elven mind, he's mad going at him. I have to try to stop him.
That's fair.
The two rangers hop down from their ledge. The other one's hood and cowl still not uncovered yet. And Marikar, the Halbarad approaches. I imagine the three of you are at the front at this point. And Halbarad approaches with his arms somewhat wide as he greets you, Damrod.
Yeah, I mean, I think Damrod would approach and hug hand Marikar, hug Halbarad.
Yeah, he will. He's a little bit taller than you still, because again, he's the tallest of your peoples at this moment in time.
My dad's bigger than your dad.
He
My
very much
dad's
is.
6 feet under, man.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, my dad's definitely taller than.
and
I
then
love
he
Charlie's
will,
reactions to stuff.
and then he will turn towards you, Aurelion, and he'll like wipe his hands on his trousers, on his cloak, and then he'll offer you a hand to shake.
Despite everything, he will take it and shake his hand, which is actually probably the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, he'll take your hand and sort of with the other one clasp your forearm, give it a shake, and he'll like nod his head to you. Well met, Aurelion.
Well met.
It's good
And
to see that you are well.
I wish we had met under better circumstances. Did you happen to catch word that Villy has been killed?
I have heard news, yes. Since we have, I have seen Damrod over the winter, as well as your other companion, and he'll nod towards you, Marikar, again, who you have met previously.
Yeah, Marikar would just give him a small smile and nod back at him.
He'll sort of pause as he looks from you, Aurelion, to Marikar and the other elf accompanying you.
And of course, this is my cousin, Madlung. He prefers to go by Rook, though.
He takes his hood down and greets him.
Well met, Mablung. You are of
Rook.
the
Well, grabs his forearm. He copied what he did with Aurelion, grabs his forearm just out of instinct. He's like, is this?
I believe
He
you
kind
are
of
of
looks
the
around like, is this right? Like, am I supposed to be doing this?
I believe you are of the woodland realm. You have travelled far.
Apparently not far enough.
The sea is dangerously close for your kind. I warn you against not hearing its calls.
In what direction?
He'll point off towards the west. Anyway, I believe there is a. My companion here is yet to announce himself, and he just stepped to the side and sort of make way as throwing off his hood. Um, yes. He looks upon you, Aurelion, and he looks upon you, Damrod. Well met, Aurelion. It has been some time, as this is the captain of the Rangers, This is Aragorn.
It's me from the past.
And I'm here also from the past and the present.
Yes. Time traveling. Um,
I will rule the day.
And
And-
at that, Aurelian will just have a very like ghost of a smile as he turns to Rook and like cocks his eyebrows, like, "See, I told you so."
Told you I knew
Um,
Aragorn.
Yeah.
he
I would imagine, obviously, Rick knows who Aragorn is without question. I would imagine.
he strides up to you.
He
He's-
strides.
Yeah, he strides up to you, Aurelion, and greets you very formally to start off with, and in Elven. But then again, similar to how Halbarad greeted Damrod, he would sort of embrace you in a similar way, not a familial way, but like it is good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while.
Mm-hmm. I imagine that Aurelian goes to shake his hand and then he goes in for the hug, and Aurelian's just kind of like this. But it's not like he's not as uncomfortable as that one time that Marikar just full on bear hugged him, and he's definitely not saying anything like "put me
Yeah.
down, put me down."
Yeah.
But he just kind of stands there for a minute, kind of like unsure of what to do with his hands before he just like. And after he lets go, he just like
Rook's
nods.
Rook is behind Aragorn, like,
Yeah, the hug doesn't last for very long
Mhm.
before he separates and looks at you and says, Halbarad here is not wrong. You do not look the best. Did you have trouble getting here?
In more ways than one, yes.
Very well. He would turn then to Damrod. Damrod, it has also been some time since I last saw you. I believe he was still a child. And he would offer to shake your hand. Well,
I got to
clasp
hug
forearms.
Aragorn and you didn't.
Damrod's just like standing there for a minute, while Aragorn has his arm out for a handshake. He's just staring at him, and kind of shakes his head and shakes himself, and then clasps his forearm and shakes back.
The Halberd just like shakes his head at you. But Aragorn would clasp your forearm. Well met indeed. It is good to see that we have someone looking after Aurelion here.
Damrod just shakes his head.
That position's been filled by Rook here.
Ah, he'll greet you in.
Out in front of Aragorn, thanks.
He will greet you in Elven, Rook.
You'd greet him back.
Well met, and he'll shake your hand and he'll offer you the formal Elven sort of welcoming and then offer to shake your hand.
He was saying, Elven, you remember the old ways, and he would greet him in Elven versus shaking his hand.
Yep. Your companion here I have not met before.
He's angry man.
Looking at you, Damrod.
Marikar?
No, I
Is
think
it,
he's
is
looking.
it Damrod or
I'm
Yeah, are
pretty
you looking
sure,
at Damrod or
pretty,
Marikar?
pretty sure he's looking at Damrod, but
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I thought this was a case of no one can remember your guys' names.
No, it's very much a case of he's not been introduced to Marikar.
Yeah, it's like, hey, why are you being rude over here?
Damrod looks at Aragorn and says, This is Marikar, the Quiet, first of his name, dad bod of the West, the wood handler, dealer of cakes, smoking bro, juicer, the sweetie, first fist of honey, bouncer of brie, warg wrestling love knight, The ass of Middle Earth.
I forgot about the last one.
Nice. Nice.
After, after your introduction, he turns and looks and he nods his head and welcomes you, Marikar.
Marikar gives him a similar smile that he did with Hollaback Girl. And he just kind of gives him a little wave, and says, "Pleasure to meet you, Captain." And he like looks at Damrod quizzically because he doesn't recognize him. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure Damrod's talked about him every day since Marikar's known him, and probably has some like posters. But
He's got all the trading
That's
cards.
okay.
yeah. So, but Damrod's not making Marikar is not making a connection on who this guy is, but he's cordial.
This is the equivalent of like if you met someone and you were like, "Oh, your name's what? Jesus? Oh, I know you from your carpentry stuff. Nice to meet you."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Marikar, the person that you thought was in charge of the Rangers, like was the leader of the Rangers was Halbarad.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that makes
and
sense to me.
and for Halbarad to turn and call him captain, in sort of a "you are my captain"
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah, that catches him off guard a
Yeah.
little bit.
Well met. You have the look of those from across the mountains.
Bjorning, sir.
Your people helped me on a great task not so long ago.
And he would again kind of be like, "Sure, man." Um, but he would say, "Well, my people, from what I can tell, are probably the most nice and accommodating." And he'd look over at Aurelion, and he says, "I haven't seen too much of that over on this side from some people."
Looks between the two of you again, and he
That's because
says,
Brooke's gritting his teeth, trying not to say something.
Yeah, Aurelian's like glaring at
Now he's
him.
getting annoyed.
That's that, Marikar, I can attest to myself. But if it was not
He's
for
like,
that,
"Thank you."
if it was not for the aid and of your people, my task would have been far more difficult.
Glad I can help.
You didn't help. And he'll say that in Sindarin.
Again,
avoid-
Aragorn and Halbarad are both sort of looking at each other, looking at the two of you, and they're definitely picking up some difficulties between the group at this moment in time. Well, if you've got things to discuss, we shall move out from the open. There are not many living things here that walk on two legs, but there are still enough for us to be cautious. Spies can always be within the hills. Come. And he will turn and head off, leading you to the north. As you enter the North Downs on the southeasterly side, southwest of them, the going is difficult, but they lead you on a wandering trail. Damrod yourself will notice telltale signs of indications of the path that they are taking. So much so that you could probably manage to find this trail and make your way along this trail at a different time on your own. You can give me a survival check, however, to see how well you are at this.
One moment. Checking something real quick.
Yeah. As the light is fading and you get into the downs properly, you are greeted by a group of 4 other rangers. Well, maybe you can't.
I'm definitely going to
Um,
use my
You are
inspiration on
greeted
that
by
because Damrod is trying to
yeah.
Damrod is trying his best to memorize at least this trail that they're on, so that he doesn't have to hear crap on the way back
Yep.
if they get lost.
Good inspiration, man.
I think
Okay,
impressing
yeah.
Aragorn is pretty important, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. %. You are greeted by 4 other rangers. And they report, and they have a camp set up and established. You are welcomed into the camp. This is not one of the sanctuaries, however. Halbarad will explain. From here, we will turn west. It is there on the north side of the Tower of Twilight the Dome of Sight. That is where we will head. We will reach there tomorrow. It is best to camp here though for now. Rest and recover. Aragorn here will tend to any wounds that you may still have lingering.
At some point, when we're alone, Aurelian will just turn to Rook and be like, and say in Sindarin, how are we supposed to get through this night?
Here we go again.
Yes, because
he
Marikar
says-
would kill you at night when no one can see his glory.
Listen, he's not thinking about that. He's just thinking you
I
want to kill
said-
him.
I say with Halbarad and Aragorn with this, I don't know that he would attempt, but best we try to stay as alert as we can.
I think it might be wise if we were to stagger our sleeping schedules and maybe stay near one another
That's
just
a
to
good
make
idea.
sure
Y'all don't
Nothing.
sleep.
our resting schedules, whatever.
While everyone was traveling, is there anything that anyone would like to have discussed with anyone else?
Rook has had thoughts about maybe going to talk to Marikar to figure out what the hell is going on because he's still kind of confused.
Yeah, no one's told you anything.
You could do it. You could like sneak away.
I let Aurelian know what I'm gonna do before I do it. Obviously,
He
Right.
kind of just like gives you
Go
a
find Marikar.
strange look. Like, do you think that's wise? After he just tried to attack me back there,
He attacked you, not me.
I'm saying I don't think he's within the right frame of mind. And
I guess
again, in
Find
Sindarin,
out. Guess we're gonna find out because this is not like Marikar.
the shadow can change someone, Rook.
He looks at you with the wide eyes, like I can see that.
Exhibit A.
Nuh-uh. He says,
Well-
he says, look, I'm not asking your permission. I'm letting you know.
Well,
If there's anything I can do to figure this out and to smooth this over, that's what I'm going to do.
Just make sure you stay within the light of the fire and where others can hear you.
Fair enough. He picks up a spear and as a walking stick.
Mhm.
He's gonna go find Marikar just to talk to him. Leaves everything behind, but he takes some weapon, so he just grabs the spear that he has with him.
Yeah, I think at this point, Marikar would probably be on the other side of the fire, whatever opposite side from y'all he can find. And you would see he would have like a little piece of charcoal that he wrapped in a piece of cloth. And he managed to get like a little piece of like a bark or something, and he's trying to practice his letters.
Oh.
But he has a super pouty face on.
He's a 5-year-old.
I would walk up and just say Marikar.
Hmm.
Do you even look up at me?
No, no, he's still going. B.
I love this idiot.
Or is that no P? What's the P look like again? And then he's like
Has
comparing,
another hump on it. It has another,
But-
like Rook's helping him.
and he looks at you.
Oh.
He looks at you, and then he like, like turns his back on you. He says,
Yeah, it looks good.
and then he says, "Thanks."
He would not sit right next to him, but he would sit down close and say, "What the hell happened? Why did you try to? It looked like you were trying to kill Aurelion. Why?"
And Marikar, he puts down his piece of bark and his charcoal, and he starts kind of like looking at his fingers and playing with the charcoal left on his fingers. Damn it, cat.
No, she's so good.
No, she's terrible all the time. Come on, scoop.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
And he doesn't really look at you either, but he says, "We were in the middle of battle, and your cousin tried blowing up my head with their weird magic. So yeah, I might have lost it, and I'm not proud of it, but it happened, and I think we just need some time separated from each other."
Understand that while I have no animosity towards you, I did what I did to protect my cousin.
And he looks at you. He stops playing with his fingers, and he says, "I know, Rook. I would have done the same thing for Damrod." And then he kind of looks away.
He stands up and slams his spear down and says, "Then why are you doing this if you would do the same for him?"
And he stops.
We traveled so
And-
well together before, and then all of a sudden you lose your freaking composure and try to kill Aurelion.
How does the rest of
you? I didn't want to hit you.
Oh, do you say
I
that
didn't
real
want to
loud?
attack you. I didn't want to attack you, but I had to. And I don't like attacking my friends.
I mean, it sounded pretty loud to me.
It sounded pretty
Mhm.
loud.
Yeah. I'm not being quiet. I guess at this point he's upset because his buddy is not being his buddy, and it upsets him.
So Marikar, he gets up slowly and kind of comes face to face with you.
He kind of backs up. I kind of back up a little, like.
And as you do that, you will feel like a little tinge in the back of your head.
And
And if you look
I
across,
throw my hand out, and I
healing.
look at you, and I say, "Stop."
He's not doing anything. It's just like a warning shot.
He knows.
essentially.
He knows it's a warning, but he's like telling you, "Don't."
Mhm.
Yeah,
He turns
Marikar
back-
kind of like
turns
starts
back to
holding the back of his
Marikar.
head. and he says, Rook, it's probably best for everyone's safety if you go on the other side of the fire for tonight. I'm not doing this right now.
Rook picks up his spear and says, if that's how you want to be, then you can be that way. And he just walks away.
And Marikar sits back down and goes back to practicing his letters.
I kind of go back to Aurelian and I say, I tell him kind of, I mean, obviously you saw what happened, but I say, he threatens me again, I won't just walk away.
You shouldn't.
And like, he has the most serious look on his face, like, you know, he's not lying.
He still is not offering any reason for why he just attacked out of nowhere.
No, he's acting like a baby.
Yes.
I'm not a baby.
A big, strong man.
I'm a strong man in rage.
I was
He said-
going
he
to.
says
I
if
was-
he wants to act like a child, let him act like a child. We need to get the rest that we can get.
I would have chosen maybe more secret measure of letting Halbarad and Aragorn know about this, but you do you.
We're all just
Finesse
embarrassing.
was never my strong suit.
We're all just embarrassing Damrod in front of
Mhm.
his hero.
And his dad.
He's trying to figure out how he can leave this party with his honor intact right now.
You shan't. You're stuck.
Damrod's
I-
the
can
real
I
victim
te-
in all this.
Can I tell my dad that this party is dead?
All
Would you
because of
have
one elf.
would you have spoke to him on the journey?
I don't think that Damrod would have spoke of anything of importance yet. I think that Damrod's definitely leaving the ring talk to Aurelion. I think the deepest conversation that they would have gotten into about stuff that's relevant to the group is just simply telling Halbarad that they have a lot to discuss, but he doesn't think the road's the right place for it. I mean, there would have been small conversations here and there, catching up. This is I've done this and this and this since we last parted. Um, telling maybe telling him about some of him and Marikar's less dramatic adventures. Since they helped fight the folks that were attacking, those kind of things. Especially hearing this kind of stuff happening. He's trying to keep the journey, this full day's journey, from just being complete misery until they get there, because this is already going to be a hard conversation when they start explaining things and asking for help and all that. So
I think you've probably just had some small talk and such on the journey so far with your father. However, sitting around the camp just after the Rook and Marikar conversation, Halbrad would walk past behind you, as you're probably sitting or squatting somewhere, and he'd just tap you on the shoulder, put his hand on your shoulder so that you look up at him.
I would.
And then as you do, he motions with his head for you to follow him.
All right, I would get up and follow him.
He would lead you to just on the edge of the sort of firelight where the rest of the rangers are gathered with Aragorn. And again, like some of these rangers you would know. either from back home or fighting against the hillmen in the winter with Marikar. And in fact, Marikar, some of these rangers might have even come and you know, gave greetings to you, remembering you joining them in the assault on the camps of the hillmen.
Mm-hmm.
And as you approach the group, Aragorn is sort of giving directions and orders to the other four that are here, effectively saying, "I want two of you to keep eye on the camp, keep to a good perimeter. I want fair warning of any visitors. I do not usually wish to keep a fire going in the night, but I feel it is prudent this night with," and he'll look at you, Damrod, and say, "with our guests." The four will nod and sort of disperse into the darkness, leaving Damrod with Aragorn and Halbarad, and they'll just walk off with you, just a little bit further away from the firelight. Aragorn says, "I do not know what trouble you have had on your journey here, Damrod. However, I perceive a shadow is upon Aurelion and your other companion."
He had it first.
There is. I am concerned for your group.
Should be concerned with this one.
What has gone on?
As am I. And you guys laugh at Nate making the joke of he had it first, but I think in a less comical way, I think that Damrod will kind of mention that, and he gives kind of a short version of everything that happened. I mean, since Aragorn's here, probably not leading up to, probably not giving all the details, but mentioning, like how Marikar was back at the caravan, where he was reluctant to kill, and a short version of the conversation that Marikar and Damrod had after Marikar had to kill someone, and like, fast forwarding to the next fight where Marikar started showing the signs of his battle rage and not being able to get out of it, not being able to calm down, and so on and so forth, all the way up until the most recent one, and then he'll give more details about this last fight with the undead, and what happened, that after the undead were vanquished, that Marikar still saw enemies and rushed towards Aurelion, trying to fight enemies off Aurelion, but um, ended up appearing that he was attacking Aurelion, and everything spun out of control.
He looks downcast at this. And he'll put his hand on your shoulder, Damrod. "A shadow indeed. A dangerous one. I have seen it creep upon Aurelion since Aragion and his sister. The shadow that has fell upon your other companion, it is a dangerous one also. Be wary and be mindful. I shall use Aphalas tonight."
I've tried. I've tried to vanquish the shadow. I've tried to pull them from the shadow. Tried to keep this fellowship together. I don't know if I can anymore.
He squeezes your shoulder and says, "Do not give up hope. The fight must always be fought. We cannot stop. We must not stop. This is a shadow that is within them. And for that, there may not always be a cure. That does not mean that we must give up on them."
I won't give up on my companions, but how can I turn that shadow away from each other? We've agreed to help Aurelion with a common goal that I think the two of you know about, and that I'm sure he will speak with the two of you of. But
He would look towards Halbarad and nod.
I can't continue on if I must watch if I must protect my companions from themselves as well as shadow and other dangers that may besiege us.
Just be wary. Be mindful of them. There is a shadow that can creep upon us all. Even the greatest hearted of us. We all have our weaknesses. We shall arrive tomorrow.
I think Damrod becomes very like introspective, I guess, and just kind of nods, and you can tell that he's thinking. He's trying to imagine both his father and Aragorn in the situation that they were in, that he was in with Marikar and Aurelion and Rook um, recently. And he's trying to imagine what they would have done and how they would have handled it, and if there was anything else that he could have done to have lessened what had happened. Also, I want to point out that Aragorn is doing the hand on the shoulder thing. That's so I must be doing something right. That's Damrod's signature move.
Damrod's such a dork.
He is.
I love it.
What can
so
I say?
much.
I put a little bit of myself in every character.
And Damrod
As
is
you should.
literally the glue to this entire franchise right
Yeah,
here.
if he wasn't here, it'd be up to Rook.
And nobody wants that.
No.
What's
Even
bad
Rook
is
doesn't want that.
What's bad is I feel like Marikar was if Damrod's the glue, I feel like Marikar was the clamp that you put on the stuff you're trying to glue together, waiting for the glue to set. Because I feel like we were all rallied around
Yeah.
Marikar until the shadows settled in, and now it's just like, oh, we hate Marikar.
Yeah, even though Marikar is not even in the wrong, so but
Yeah,
that's fine. No one ever needs to acknowledge that.
So you are all able to settle for the night in a certain enough way. I want everyone to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh wow, are we doing
Um,
shadow?
The elves will be at advantage.
Who's Ray? What character is that? Is that one of the Rangers?
Yes, it is.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No shadow today.
I wouldn't say that, Charlie. Kevin's still here.
Monkey money.
We got everyone.
Oof.
Here we go. Okay, this is pretty good. Marikar,
Yes.
Damrod,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yes.
you sleep.
Oh, wonderful.
You rest your heads. Maybe this is fitting for what happens, but in the
I s-
night, as you begin to sleep restlessly, what sleep you do get, you dream. And the dream is that of the city that you saw, fires raging around it, screams in the night of torment. You see an army of orcs as well as undead warriors all about the city itself. You see the pennant, the the flag of the standard of the king burning atop the tower of the city of Fornost. The gates thrown open. And you have restless nights. Marikar, you are unable Damrod and Marikar, you're unable to get the benefits of a long rest.
Okay.
Marikar, Damrod, you're able to continue to sleep through this. However, Marikar, you awaken. What does Marikar do?
Is the
It
fire
is the middle
still
of the night.
on? Is the fire still on?
It's still on.
It is.
Just
It's
gotta
been
flip the switch and turn it
yeah,
back
it's been
on.
kept going by one of the rangers.
Gotcha. Do I have any indication that I'm
Yeah, it's being
gonna
kept going
fall?
by the ranger.
Am I getting? Do I have any indication that like if I just close my eyes, I'll fall right back asleep and it's not a big deal? Or am I'm just like up for
Um,
right now?
I think you are up.
Gotcha.
You're awake.
All right. So Marikar would probably get up and stretch, and he'd kind of take inventory of kind of what's around camp, who's there. I'm assuming the elves are still awake doing like crosswords or something. Um, but he'd probably say hi to whoever's managing the fire, and just let them know, hey, I'm gonna stretch my legs a little bit and take a little bit of a walk. And he's just gonna kind of go out into the woods a little bit where he can like still see the fire, but he's just trying to like go out, take a piss, clear his head.
He would the ranger that's sitting near camp keeping watch. He would nod at you. Um, my brothers are out there keeping watch. You shall be safe.
And Marikar just kind of gives him a head nod, and he'll probably just like casually and lazily just kind of wander about the woods, kind of trying to think, about why he's up, why he can't get a good night's sleep, and then that'll probably go into him just like, him talking to the little shadow on his shoulder a little more, but trying to bring it back in as far as, work on just listen, tomorrow's a new day. Let's just, figure things out from there. But
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of what he's doing.
One of you, Aurelian or Rook would have perhaps noticed Marikar getting up and leaving the firelight.
What do you think he's doing?
He's going out to eat babies.
Elvish babies.
Maybe he's going to collect the ears of the elves, as it were. Should I
Do you say
follow
that?
him?
Oh, do we
No.
follow him?
Should we follow him?
I think it might be a good idea.
Let's go. So we're gonna
Yeah,
head after him
it looks
quietly.
like. I think it looks like he's just. I think it just looks like he's going for a stroll.
All right,
Leave
let's
him
get
to it.
back before he has any reason to crack our skulls.
It's okay. You can blow his head up. It'll be fine.
I tried that before, and he very well could have killed me.
Well, I suggest we either don't go or we be quiet.
No, let's not stray from camp and give him ample opportunities to kill us.
Do you continue to follow him, or do
Oh,
you?
no. I'm heading back.
No, let him have his stroll. I have a feeling that if we got discovered, this would not go well. So
No,
I got +9 to stealth. But that's besides the point. I can always roll a 1.
He's like, but I have +9 stealth, so
here's the
But I
thing:
I
you're
don't
with
have to
me,
worry
and
about
don't.
it.
The dreaded 1.
You're with me, and I don't have stealth.
Marikar,
Remember?
Marikar, you as you are walking, you one of the sentries whispers to you from I guess behind a rock of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Bjorning, you are leaving the perimeter of our sentries. Be careful of your step."
And Marikar, he looks at him, and he looks out into kind of the unperimeterized area of
Yeah,
of the forest, and he looks back at him and he says,
you are in a hilly area. These are
Mhm.
downs. These are rolling hills, broken
"Yeah,
lands.
yeah," and he'll kind of pat him on the shoulder, and he'll say, "Which what direction? Like, I can. How do you tell? You know, what direction there is out here? You know, so many hills, and how do you know which is north, south, east, west, east, west?"
We're we are not in such a bad position here. You head down the slope here. Follow its lower reaches around to the west, and as you follow it around, it will turn south. There you will reach the north end of the Greenway. That is the road that leads directly south to the place that you know as Bree.
Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. Well, I don't know. I just can't sleep, man. I'm gonna stroll around a little bit, and I don't venture too far out, and then he'll just head out into the woods for a little more.
Yep.
Um, now, if I can use this moment for a little bit of creativity,
Go for it.
um, as we were walking to this campsite for the night, um, I guess maybe he was probably being stealthy about it, but Marikar has been kind of at the back of the party for most of the time. And all he has on him is kind of like his backpack. Um, and he has his axe. But most of his equipment he kind of stashed. You know, he like maybe took a piss break or something, and he stashed a majority of his equipment out on the road. And before he left, he would have dropped a trinket into Damrod's bag. You know, probably as he slept or sometime throughout the night. But Marikar just keeps walking. And he keeps walking, and he finally gets to where he stashed his bag. And he looks back at the direction where the party is. And he says, you know, I hope you're right. This has to, this, I hope this is better. And he says, we'll figure it out on our own, as if he was talking to someone with him. And he walks into the darkness.
Marikar, for fun,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
can you give me 3 survival checks?
Is he gonna walk in circles?
It
Wait.
would be the best if he just fell down a fucking hole. And that's how Marikar died.
Can I just
Yeah,
end the
here's the
stream now
thing.
and not let this happen?
Here's the thing: you can't see in the dark. And do you have a torch?
Yeah, it would be with his equipment. He has a
Okay.
lantern.
But can you find it in the dark?
I think that's what we're trying to figure out. At least part of it. So survival checks.
Yeah.
That's a 9. That's a 10. Oh, and that's a 5.
Okay.
You ain't going nowhere.
So, first of all, you are unable to find where you stowed any of your gear
Welcome back
and
to Camp
equipment.
Marikar.
Now,
Nice.
it may be that you have your axe on you, because you like they would notice you're not carrying your axe. So maybe you've got your axe on you.
Mhm.
And you think you have an idea of which way you need to travel to get to this road. I mean, the ranger made it seem like it was just there, just like really easy. As you begin to make your way, around through the downs, and you are walking and you are walking, and you are give me a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh.
You're good at those, right?
Yeah.
So much dex.
Oh, I'm super dex.
Oh,
Look at
Okay.
my dex.
You do lose your footing at one point, right? But you're able to not twist your ankle or hurt yourself, or even worse, fall down the side of one of these slopes. As you make your way down, and eventually the sun begins to rise um, in the west. The sky lights.
Mhm.
You are off the hill, at the bottom of the hill, but you're unsure of your current location.
Marikar would just pick a direction and keep on walking.
oh my gosh.
Um,
No.
Aurelion,
He would lick his thumb, and then he'd check the wind and walk in. Um. So
at
here's the
least
thing.
you
In
know. At
his
least,
mind, the wind's going from east to west. So he takes his thumb and he walks as if he was going south from the wind. So whatever
I
direction
mean,
that would be.
you
Maybe we
know
should
that the sun rises in the west,
Mm,
right? And you can see that the sun is coming up in the
Perfect.
west.
We're good.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
just keeps running and running and running.
and run then.
Aurelion and Rook. It's probably a few hours until you realize that Marikar isn't back.
Where'd he go?
I've had a bit of a working theory. Do you think it's possible that maybe he's been reporting to Gror or Gorlank, and maybe he's gone to find them?
Nah. Nah, I don't think so.
Why don't you think so?
What, you think they're following us?
Yes, they followed us. They fall again. That's the crucial word there.
He looks confused because he doesn't think that he doesn't think that he's reporting to anybody.
This is too strange. Come on, Rook, we need to go find him.
I grab all of my equipment this time.
I'm gonna bonk Damrod on the head, like as we're walking by, like with my bag, and be like, "Get up!"
Kind of nudge him with my foot. Damrod.
You have noticed that Damrod has been tossing and turning, and not had a very. He's had quite a disturbed sleep, it seems.
Well, good. Then he won't miss any sleep when he gets up and helps us.
Oh, he'll get up. It might take you a minute. I take you a few shakes to wake him. I think that probably he is in a very deep sleep, but it's not a restful sleep. So, like as you're shaking him and calling his name out or kicking him or whatever you're doing, like that's it's one of those things where that's translating into his dreams. You're calling out Damrod's name, and he's hearing some voice off in the distance that he can't find and he can't get to, kind of thing. But eventually he'll like literally wake up and come around and
Damrod, you're in the midst of a battle. The city of Fornost is at your back. You are surrounded by tall men in armor, in familiar helms, and a sea of orcs are all about you in your ranks. And again, you hear the shouts of your fallen comrades, imagined comrades, I guess. Perhaps even rangers that you actually know, the ones that are here in camp at this moment in time. They are calling your name each time that Aurelion and Rook do in the real world. And every time they touch you, it is like a blow, a spear from an orc scimitar, slash, an arrow piercing between the joints of your armor.
While all this is happening, I'm going to reach in my bag, pull out my canteen, and dump it on him. Like right in the face. I want to waterboard him.
You are in your dream, Damrod. A Marikar is in front of you, his axe cutting down orc after orc. However, a black rider on a tall black horse wades through the mass of orcs and comes upon Marikar. He is cattail.
Yep.
He is he's too blind within his bloodlust to hear you shout, to look out. You reach Marikar to warn him as he turns and looks at you with a solemn look upon his face as the Black Rider beheads Marikar in front of you, splashing you with his warm, hot blood at the same time as Aurelion tips a canteen over your head, waking you up.
Damrod instantly comes out of sleep and rips this dagger from underneath his pillow, waving it around at whatever presence he feels in front of him. He's not necessarily stabbing, but he's doing a move where he's like clearing the air in front of him because he's still, his heart's still pounding. He's still in battle mode for a moment.
Rook would reach over, grab his wrist, and say, "Damrod, it's us."
And
Get
you
up.
see a terror and a panic on Damrod's face.
Yeah, seen it before. Get up.
You can tell that he sees you, Rook. He's not attacking or anything anymore. But you still see that terror in his eyes. And the first thing he says to you, as he realizes it's you, is, "Where's Marikar?"
We're going to get him. We don't know.
He's gone.
He took off, and he's been gone for hours.
What do you mean?
He took off in the middle of the night.
He got up, he walked away, and he's been gone a long time. Like Rick doesn't know how else.
Damrod leaps up off of his bedroll and starts to pack up his gear and just ready himself for travel. And the whole time he is like, and as paranoid as the two of you are, no one thought to follow him.
We did think to
Seriously,
follow him.
We did think to, but then we thought of his murderous attitude and decided probably shouldn't.
Be alone in the woods with him at night.
There's two of us, but he gets mad easy.
He doesn't want to kill the two of you.
Clearly
Suffering,
he does.
he's suffering from shadow, much as you are, Aurelion.
My
this
shadow
just-
has not made it to where I attack people with no reason.
Especially people within the party, anyway. Our friends. He kind of like.
We need to see a therapist. And he continues to gather up his gear and
Should we wake those two?
which way?
The other ranger who's been tending to the fire comes to you all. What is the concern?
Our companion left camp last night or tonight and hasn't come back.
And we're going to find him.
One of you must have been on watch.
He went out towards the watch warden.
And no one was concerned that he never came back.
It has not been reported that he has not come back. He
He's
seemed
not
troubled.
here.
We know that he's not here. We are not his keeper.
I guess we are.
Apparently.
How'd you let your Marikar get out? You didn't tie him up?
Because these conversations happening, Aragorn would awaken.
Oh, this is gonna be really embarrassing for you, Damrod.
I'm gonna shift. I'll go over
What?
here. Stand
What?
out of Mircorn's eyesight. I'm gonna go hide behind Mircorn.
What?
Or,
What is wrong? What's happening?
Marikar is missing, and Damrod is extremely concerned about it. So Damrod loses all of the fanboy stuff that was happening earlier is gone from Damrod's demeanor right now, and he fills Aragorn in on what's happened, but it's very much in the same vein of how he was just talking to the other ranger. It's still with respect, but it's with the haste and frustration that he was talking to everyone else. You know,
Yeah.
our companion is missing, and he hasn't come back, and no one has thought ill of this until now.
He would turn to the other ranger and tell him, "Go and speak with whoever is on watch. Find out if we know." And then he nods and turns and leaves the camp, heads the way that Marikar would have gone. 5 minutes later, returns. He says that he saw him leave the camp and that he said he was going for a walk. Indeed, he has not returned, but he's free, correct?
It's not about whether he's free or prisoner or anything of that nature. If Aragorn had gone for a walk and then come back for hours, wouldn't you be concerned?
Aragorn is the king of these men, though.
Fine, I'll go look for him myself. Aurelion, I believe you have business with my father.
No, I'm coming with you.
Yep.
I don't trust for a second that he's not selling us out.
Marikar is not selling us out.
What would
We
he
came-
sell you out for? He doesn't have money. He doesn't like money. He doesn't use it.
Yeah, but Nyla.
We came
Ooh.
here for a reason.
Ah,
Maybe, I guess.
yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah,
even I
yes.
forget about her.
Nothing important, just the whole reason for your quest.
I think Aragorn would take your arm, Damrod, as it looked like you went to turn. Grab you by the elbow almost and say, "Damrod, you will not be able to track him tonight unless you are to walk up and down the hills calling for him. You will not find him. It is too dark."
Oh, Damrod will never find him.
All I need to do is to put my mind in the state of Marikar. If I close my eyes and wander off, I'm sure I'll find him.
If you close your eyes, you are in the mind of Marikar.
I don't think Damrod actually says that. I think he opens his mouth to protest against what Aragorn just said. And just before words leave his lips, he realizes that Aragorn's probably right. Nonetheless, I don't think Damrod's getting any more sleep tonight. So I think he lets out a long breath and lets out just a slight bit of the tension. Aragorn probably feels Damrod's muscles relax just a little bit, and he just says, "Fine, we'll look for him at first light. I will look for him at first light." And he's gonna look over to where his father would be, and see if his father is still asleep or if he's awake.
Snoring
That's why
like
Mom
bad
left.
pipes.
I think that Damrod looks to Aurelion and he says, I think this conversation has waited far too long. And I think he actually goes and wakes his father up and, in a way, like forces the conversation of the information we need of this ring.
Yeah. He will absolutely. Aurelian will go along with this, and he'll try to be as secret as he can. Try not to say this in front of anyone except for Aragorn and Halbarad, but he will fill them in on how we're looking for someone named Baralas, who is known to have a ranger name and may have the ring.
At this, I guess Rook would be kind of creating a little bit of a ruckus because he's like, "Why is nobody moving? Nobody here can track in the dark. Why are we not? Why have we not left yet?" Like he's getting agitated because although there was a confrontation, Marikar still one of his best buds, and he wants to figure out what's going on. And why are we wasting time talking about this? Can nobody track at night?
Well, you and I
Not
can,
without-
maybe.
Not yeah,
Let's
not
go.
without torches.
We don't need torches. We got elf vision.
Got elven eyes.
I think you still need some light. It's not like
Torch.
it's yeah. I mean, if you wanted to attempt, you could attempt.
Yeah, but we do fill in Halbarad about what we need to know before we go.
I think Damrod.
Yeah,
I
Halbarad,
think
like,
I think Damrod will go to Rook and maybe take him to the side at some point while Aurelion's talking to Halbarad and Aragorn, and just like kind of go over with Rook and just be like, "Look, I want to go search for Marikar now. He could be in danger out there. Who knows what's happening? Who knows what he's doing right now?
He could be
I don't
dead.
think he's selling us out, but he could just
I don't
be
either.
wandering aimlessly, you know, in these hills, and we don't know what's out there. But we can't do him any good if we get lost ourselves or get harmed ourselves looking for him in the dark." And just basically reassures you that Damrod doesn't want to wait, but it's going to make the job easier if we wait the few hours until first light.
Every hour we wait is an hour further away he gets. But fine. And he kind of just huffs and stomps away.
And that's at that point, Damrod will rejoin the conversation, filling in any gaps or any information that he can supply or whatever about the quest, what's happened up until now, and his part in it.
Halbarad would say, I cannot say I know a Baralas, although it is perhaps a name of our peoples, but it could also be that of the peoples of Gondor.
Is there any
If they
chance?
are, go on.
Is there any chance that you might have heard of anyone by that name? Maybe the name Gror or Gorlunk?
Gorlank
You know him?
and Aragorn and Halbarad certainly look at each other. Gorlank, what has that name got to do with your tale?
He was involved in the quest to find the ring, and they were They were among the ones who found it in Eregion.
They were the ones that the dwarf that we found. That was his party.
Yes, I believe that he was hired by Gorlong. And I don't know how much you know of him, but given how much he hates my people, I don't think that this ring coming into his possession would be a good thing.
Indeed. We have had dealings with
Who the fuck is that?
It was not long after the incident at Eregion that we had to drive
Freaking air.
Gorlank out north. He was amassing a group of fighters and orcs. His plan was to assault Bree and take Bree. We got word of this and we we gathered the rangers and we drove him out.
You drove him out, but I don't suppose you took him captive, did you?
We did not find him. He slipped away.
Well, he is most likely going to be attempting to amass another army. And given how many people are at Bree currently, you can't let that happen. He can't take Bree.
We will not. If he is returned back to Eriador, that may very well be what he is doing. He lowers his voice. Aragorn lowers his voice. The ring. You know what it does?
And he's going to lower his voice and say, and he'll say in Sindarin just to be safe, it has the ability to find things.
You could speak in Quenya, which is the
Yeah.
high elf, which Aragorn would know, and
Okay.
most of the other rangers wouldn't.
Given the fact that Rook doesn't know this, and I'm afraid of Rook listening in, then he will say it in Kenyan, and he'll say, it acts as a dowsing rod. It can find seemingly anything. That's partially why I'm so concerned that maybe Marikar found out. He's looking for someone, and if he finds out what this ring can do, then it's likely that he'll try to take it for himself.
Yeah, in Kenyan, he would actually grasp your elbow quite firmly and say to you, it can find things.
Nathaniel was able to use it to amass a great hoard of riches that he kept in the downlands. What was it called?
The Black Barrow.
The Black Barrow, thank you. In the Black Barrow. But the ring was not there.
It has led, your findings has led to this Berelas.
It has. The journal that I found seemed to imply that she betrayed Nathaniel. Wait, no, maybe it wasn't Nathaniel. Who did she betray? I forget.
Um,
Oh, was it Agri who she betrayed?
no, I think it was Nathaniel.
Okay. I believe that she betrayed Nathaniel and pushed him into the Black Barrow and took the ring for herself. That's what the journal that we found said.
And it has gone missing.
It has gone missing.
And he would look over at the rest of them because he sort of turned you away from the rest of the group at this point as he's speaking to you in this language.
Mm-hmm.
And Damrod, Halbarad, and Rook, you get the sense that something, he's being quite desperate in his tone. You must, this quest of yours is no longer a purpose of one of your own. If this ring can do what you say it can, it cannot fall into the wrong hands, especially not this Gorlank's.
Absolutely not.
Aurelion, understand me. Not now. It cannot fall into the hands of the wrong person.
I'm well aware. Once we find it, we will find some way to destroy it.
You must. There is far greater things at stake right now than perhaps you may know. I cannot stay. Tomorrow you make your way to the sanctuary if you must. I must head back as soon as possible. I must find Gandalf.
Is Brooke saying anything about that?
We saw him a while back. We saw Gandalf. He was here. Well, here we were.
You would, because yeah, you no one would really pick up on most of this. However, you Damrod and Rook, you would still probably pick up on Gandalf's name, which would probably be Mithrandir rather than Gandalf.
Did he see Gandalf?
I think that Damrod sees and hears the urgency in Aragorn's voice, at least. Even if he doesn't pick up everything that's being said, or any of what's being said, he hears the urgency, and the only thing that you hear from Damrod is a mumble of, "There seems to be shadow upon everyone."
Aragorn turns to you, Damrod, and he will put his hand on your shoulder again and look at you deeply and say, I will find your friend. I will find your companion. At first light, I will track him. I will take 2 other rangers with me.
Should we look to the east at
What are you gonna
dawn
say to
in
him?
3 days?
No, it will only take me 1 to find him.
So cool.
You doubt my skills.
What are you gonna say to him when you find him?
Rook, don't be rude. If anyone can help Marikar, it's Aragorn.
It's just a question.
I don't think he was being rude. I think he was just asking.
I know that, but Damrod
I
took
get
it
a sense-
as like you're
But-
doubting his skills.
At this point, Rook has been like, fine. It's just a
I-
question.
I get a sense.
Damrod.
I get a sense that the shadow that has fallen on your companion, and he'll sort of side eye Aurelion, who probably isn't paying that much attention. Might be talking to Rook at this time, but
I'm paying attention.
okay. Yeah. It is. It. I'm sure is not within. He is not too far gone. I do not believe. I should be able to talk to him. If not, there are 2 here that know him.
There's
We
2
will be fine.
here.
Yeah, two of the other rangers.
Oh, I thought you were saying
Like,
Rook
there's
and
3 of us
Damrod.
that know Marikar.
No, yeah.
Did he just drop Aurelion as a
That's what I was
don't
saying.
even
I
know
was
me
like,
no
oh,
more.
that's
We don't
funny.
even know him anymore.
And you still get the sense, Damrod, that whatever he's saying, there's an urgency in what he's saying. He has an urgency about himself at this moment in time.
I think before before Damrod allows the topic of Marikar to be released and be passed over, he he looks at Aragorn and just says, "When you find him, help him if you can. If he's willing to help us complete the quest, send it back to us. If
I
not,
don't trust him.
send him or take him somewhere where he can do some good."
I will say in Kenyan and put him down if necessary.
Aragorn sort of snaps his head around at you,
He may be too far gone.
but then turns back to you, Damrod, squeezes your shoulder. I will help him.
What's
You
the
must all
dwarf's
rest.
number? Because I might want to turn state's evidence against Aurelion.
That's why I said that in Kenyan.
I'm a
Rook
witness for
doesn't
the
even know what I
defense.
said.
I'm the witness for
Halbarad
defense.
would speak
Fabricated.
with you, Aurelion. There is one that's Aurelion. There is one that may have better answers. It was he that found Nathaniel, was it? Originally, and got him back to Bree. It is he that also that kept an eye on him. For it was strange to find him out there, and after I had reported back to the Rangers about our quest somewhat, then it was he that was keeping an eye on Nathaniel. If any would know of this Beras, it would be him. The Brelanders, they call him Tarimak. He helps wanderers along the east-west road, much how Damrod found the caravan with Marikar.
Then we will seek him out if you can point us in the right direction.
He will camp at. You remember the inn where we met?
Is it
The
still
Forsaken
standing?
Inn. It is not.
Cool.
However, it is still a stopping place for those that travel the east-west road. It is a day from Bree along the east road. Seek for him there.
Thank you, Halbarad.
I'm sorry
again,
you've come
man,
such a long way, and
Is there any hope of pulling him out of whatever stupor that he is in?
your friend.
Yes.
That would depend on him.
Oh, damn.
He's like,
He's
oh
so
no.
angry. He's so mad right now. I
He's
can't.
got so much teenage angst.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Would you
He's
not have
my-
faith in
he's one
him?
of my buddies, and I can't. He tried to. He told me he was gonna basically attack me if I can get the hell away from him. By this point, Rook's getting not mad so much as now he's getting emotionally upset
Rook,
because he's always trying to think the good in all of his companions, especially somebody he's had a connection with, like Marikar.
Rook, I can tell this is upsetting you. If we go, then I know you're not going to be able to put your full attention into this. Should we stay until we receive more word?
I'm not going alone. It's not smart.
I don't intend to leave you. That's why I'm asking. Should we stay here until we hear anything back from Aragorn?
We don't even know where he went.
You don't know Aragorn, though.
You
Damrod,
know Aragorn?
He-
You never told me?
I did tell you this. I told you.
The lies! He's,
You thought
in
I
a
was
joking
lying.
way, he's saying this in a joking manner, just to be clear.
Listen, I know you think that all rangers are as incompetent as Damrod, and it's the truth is only most of them are.
Said he was incompetent. I never said that.
I
never
say
said
that right
at
in
all.
front of
It comes from
Halbarad and
my
all of the
mouth.
other rangers.
Lies.
Damrod's just catching stray after stray.
But anyway, we don't even know the direction he went. So how are we going to eat? Where would we go?
That's what I'm saying. I think we should wait here until we hear back from Aragorn, and then
Oh,
we
you
can
would-
continue on our way. It's not ideal, but I want you to be focused.
Oh, I'm focused. He grabs
No,
like
you're
a
not.
log. He grabs
No,
a
you're
log
not.
and goes and sets it up. I'm gonna go focus on target practice. Maybe I'll imagine this is one of Marikar's knees, so he can't move as fast next time.
Aurelian, Tarimak is what the Brelanders know him as. You will know, Damrod, you will know him as Malor.
What's his name again?
So his actual name is Malor.
Oh, gotcha. I
Oh.
just need to write it down for my notes. Got it.
However, that's what the Brelanders know him as. The rest of you stay in camp as the night passes. At first light, Aragorn and two other rangers head off in the direction that
Aragorn, or is it this picture of
Marikar was heading. Say it again.
Nothing.
Is your plan to progress on to the sanctuary of the Rangers in the North Downs, or what would else be your plan to be? Is it to like waiting here be sort of pointless? It would be either you progress on to the sanctuary, or you begin your journey back to Bree, as you have met with Halbarad and got what answers you can.
I mean,
Going back to Bree is not an option yet.
why is it not an option yet? Oh, you
Yeah,
know what?
fine.
Let's go. Yeah, you're right. Let's go back. Let's go to the sanctuary, so at least we can rest for a little bit while we wait for word of Marikar.
Fair enough.
So you guys, you are led by Halbarad now towards the west. Marikar, at first light, you pick your direction, and you begin your wandering. Was your plan to head west towards the sun or south? What was your plan?
South was
South.
what was the plan? Yeah, and like
Yeah.
he might even second guess that a few times, but I think generally he's wandering south.
You wander south, and luckily enough, you find yourself at the base of a steep hill, a steep slope, and on top of it, shining in the sun, you see the city of Fornost once more, the ancient capital of the north. From here, at your feet, you realize that to your left, as you are looking south, you see that there is a slope with a road running up it, and that to your right, skirting around this steep cliff side, which the city sits atop of, is the remnants of an ancient stone road, which is the northern point of the north-south road back to Bree.
Hmm. At that, he would make his way to Bree.
You
He's intentionally staying away from us, I feel now.
Yeah, he's
You-
metagaming.
you follow the road, which you would know by now that the Breelanders call Dead Man's Dyke.
He laughs at that.
Happy Pride Month.
although Damrod would have called it the Greenway.
Mm.
As you follow the remnants of this paved road, which actually runs very straight. This is not a windy path. This has cobblestones. This has been made and paved long ago. Although the weeds and the grass have now grown between the ancient slabs that lined the road. Along it, you see the remnants of old statues, some on horseback, some standing tall and proud with crowns. As you make your way south along the Greenway, the rest of you arrive at the sanctuary. So it's on the north side of the hill that the Dome of Sight is upon. And with that, I just need to take a 5-minute break.
That's actually,
Same.
yeah.
All right. We don't, unless we're gonna go a little bit longer than normal. We usually got about 30 minutes left, but we can come back and wrap everything up if you guys want to take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back.
I would love another drink.
All right. Give us about 5 minutes, guys. We'll be right back. And
Thank you
we're
very much.
back. It's all yours, Kevin. Let's finish up our probably the most
We are
depressing session we've had
Ever.
as a party forever.
Ever.
Actually, that's not true. When we thought
I wasn't
Orden
even
died,
this
that was
mad in
that
our
was
other
pretty
one
bad.
whenever
but-
I wasn't
Which
even this
time?
mad in the other one whenever the freaking hobbits died. Now I'm just, this is more sad.
This is Charlie's
Yeah.
most depressing session
It's,
he's been in. This
Mhm.
is
It
this is
man.
probably
What's he like,
close to
man?
hours since. And Ray, which time? I mean, the time that Orden actually died.
That's important to say.
And we had
You said almost died. If
No,
he
I
almost
said
died. Like
died.
8. Okay.
Yeah,
and,
I'm fine.
We had to res
saved it.
Orden. Heartless
Um,
Nate is ripping our favorite character out of the game.
Yeah. Now no one's gonna watch us, Nate.
Thanks a lot, Nate. Nobody's been watching more because of you.
I'm gonna have to make another T-shirt that says "Justice for Maricar."
Uh-huh. Make a shirt that's like, "Have you seen me?" And it's got a picture of Marikar's face. No, put it
Maricar,
on a milk
send me
carton.
that
That'd be
Cricket
funnier.
art. My wife has a cricket. I'll make that shirt.
Put his title underneath it.
um,
My wife has
Yeah.
a cricket. We can make those.
I am the
you
captain now.
arrive. You arrive in a hall, which is worked stone
Oh.
in the ground still.
I heard it too, Ray.
You know,
Don't worry.
it's a
Thank
cave.
you.
To call it a cave would be a disservice to it, for this is cut out and carved into what looks like a hall, almost like a terrace as well, out on front. You enter inside, and there is a fire in two halves, either side lit. And Halbarad and the two rangers that are with him now direct you. Aurelion and Damrod and Rook. He takes the three of you into a side chamber where there are some beds, and off another side chamber from that room you see a chair and another hearth with a fire lit, and sitting in the chair is smoking a pipe, reading a book, is an elderly ranger. And what stands out about this elderly ranger is he's missing his left arm.
Oh, I think he needs an iron arm.
Winter Soldier.
Idris Elba? Is that what he said?
Also sitting in the corner reading a book is a younger man. He doesn't have the same bearing as a Dunedain ranger. Not one of the north, anyway. His build is lesser. He's not as tall. Perhaps taller than a Breelander. But sitting in the corner reading a book. Not making conversation with the elderly one-armed man. Nate, do you want to describe your character?
Yes, I would. Let me pull up a little character sheet here. Should have got my glasses on the break. Can you help me with the first name?
Amlaith.
Amlaith.
Oh.
I am Amlaith of Tharbad. I am it looks like here I am a level 5 warrior of the Lesser Dunedain of Tharbad culture.
Another Dunedain.
Fallen Scion is my background. What exactly does that mean?
Okay, so the Fallen Scion is a once noble house
Mm-hmm.
that is no longer around.
The last of my house.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Tharbad is currently now completely abandoned,
Mm-hmm.
and it is completely ruined.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
river has flooded the city. The bridges are broke.
Mm-hmm.
We saw some of this in the prequel that we did.
Okay.
But in the 60 years since then, it has completely been destroyed effectively.
Gotcha.
A lot of the people that were still in Farbad have now fled and moved to Bree. Those are a lot of the refugees who have now arrived in Bree recently. The last of these to arrive in Bree was yourself. The last of the commander of the garrison of the
Mm-hmm.
North Bank. Your family was effectively a lord protector of Farbad,
Mm-hmm.
but now there's nothing left of Farbad to protect. So all
For
that's
now.
left, yeah, all that's left are your people, the people of Farbad. And as much as they may appreciate you or your family, or maybe don't anymore, for like I said, you haven't really had much to protect or do much with. You've almost been,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say living off past glory, but living off past ideas
Mm-hmm.
that you would like to restore Tharbad. You would
Yes.
like to restore the people of the city, restore the bridges, restore what was once. And as Tharbad was a city of the Dunedain long ago, the ties have long since been severed. However, the remnants are still there. The origins are still there.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that you have come seeking any remnants of the Dunedain that may still be about. And in doing so, you have actually been led here by some of the rangers that you are with the party right now to speak to the captains of, or the captain of the rangers, Aragorn Halbarad,
Mm-hmm.
to entreaty them effectively for their aid.
I would. Is he still sitting by the hearth?
Is it? Nate, what's he doing?
Yeah,
Still sitting?
he's probably just hanging out. You see, he's for someone who's kind of on a mission. He's super relaxed. Like he's like spread out on maybe even like he might have been as bold to like if there's like a commander's chair, like I'm thinking like Skyrim, the Jarl, he has like his chair. He might even just be chilling out there, like talking to people. If no one would like, murder him for doing so, kind of thing. Um, but yeah, he's just hanging out by the Farth, maybe talking to some ladies, or having a drink, just
Rook would
vibing.
walk up, pull out of his pack some hagweed that he has, and goes, "Do you have this stuff, or is it different?"
Brooke, that's not how you approach someone.
Yeah, he would look at your hagweed. I would assume he would have something as well, and maybe look to like
He
trade
said
some
you were
with you.
smoking a pipe, so I figured.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So
Are
definitely.
you kidding? We just got rid of one smoking buddy and you just made another one.
Yeah, and he
I
would be
didn't
like,
even do that on purpose, but hey, it worked.
he would get up and he's probably about a similar height and build to Damrod. You see that he's got kind of like I love this picture you have, um, uh, uh,
Let's see.
Kevin. Wait, hold on. I don't know how to share the
Yeah.
picture, but he looks so NPC.
I think I might now.
Like he
He
looks
looks
like
so
You look
NPC.
so NPC, guys.
he's such an NPC.
He's so
He's got
fat.
like that plated shirt where it's got like the individual plates on it.
Straight
Like
badass looking. Okay,
a
yeah.
chain. He wouldn't have his chain coif on, but you see he's just like big. Oh, whoa, that's him.
Oh, that's
No,
not him.
that's not him. He'd get up and he'd grab
This is
you,
nothing
No,
like what
Brooke.
you're
that's
describing, Nate.
I was like, he's got 2 arms.
Yeah, wait. Hack one of those off.
okay.
Wait, I only have one arm.
Okay, there are two there are two there are two individuals in this room. There is an elderly gentleman with
Mhm.
one arm smoking a
Oh.
pipe,
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
right? He's not wearing armor, right? But he's wearing very familiar sort of ranger-esque clothing. And then you have Nate's character, who is
Mhm.
sitting in completely different places and are definitely not interacting.
Okay.
Nate,
Yeah.
this older dude,
Mhm.
who's in this room with you,
Yes.
he's grumpy as hell.
Oh man, poor
Right,
guy.
right. He is grumpy as hell. And since you were and like, I don't know if that's his just general resting state,
Mhm.
grumpy, but like he is not happy people are here, it seems. However, You know, he's had to sort of. You've only been here maybe a 3 days or so. However, you've noticed that he, as unhappy as he has seemed, he is still sort of, he knows the chain of command.
Mm-hmm.
The only person he's gave respect to is the captain.
Better recognize.
Okay.
Recognize who we are.
The captain's second in command, who you know as Halbarad,
Mm-hmm.
who has just walked in the room with 3 new individuals. Like he has quite often talked down to him and been quite sort of
To
as,
Halbarad?
yeah,
Oh,
he is
Jesus.
he has almost ordered Halbarad around, and Halbarad has sort of argued the case with him,
Mm-hmm.
and
You
sort of
tell
just,
me what to do.
and just taken it.
Interesting.
Wow.
All right. So, I mean,
Your granddad, Damrod? Like, is that who's?
I don't
What do
know,
we
but
know
if it
about
is, we're
him?
about to. I don't know, but if it is, we're about to put Pappy in a home.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, so we were Rook was doing something though, right? Or did you? Am I doing something here?
I think he was offering you pipe weed.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, I
Yeah.
was asking
So
what he had in like different from what I had, because maybe if he had, I'd give him a little pinch. He gives him a
yeah.
little
So
pinch.
and then you would be talking to what's his face. I mean, I guess I'd probably be smoking too.
I think he's talking to you.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah. Name. Shit, I'm gonna have to learn the name again.
Emily.
Emily, if he'd get up, and he's kind of like a big, stocky kind of guy. Not stocky, but like he's like athletic thin, you know, like he's more cut than built than big. And he looks at you, and he like grabs you by the shoulders with a big smile. Uh, but you see, like he has no problems just being physical with people, like pushing them around, very like soldier like. Um, and he'd like hit you on the back and then pull out a bag of his pipe weed and start telling you about what he has. And he'd offer to share some with you. And he'd
I
look
would
over to the
happily
rest of the party and say, you guys know how to party. How's it going? And he'd go around and start introducing himself.
The
Aurelia's just giving him like a kind of look. Like
the
he does not know
the
how to read this guy.
the elderly gentleman turns, because he had his feet up on a log or something.
Mhm.
When you like walked in, he didn't pay you any mind, but then he just puts his feet down, slams his feet down almost,
Oh
and he
no.
just turns and goes, Halbarad, you brought more people back here. I ain't having it. Get him out. I don't want anybody here. Take this one with you as well.
Rook turns and says, quiet down, old man. We're talking.
Yeah, as he says that, I'm going to pull off my hood and just like show him my ears and just glare at him and be like, "What was that,
He
young
stands up.
one?"
He stands up and walks over to you and go, Elves, I'm not seeing your sort out this way for a time.
Rook would
What
drop
do you
his
want?
hood and say, maybe you should open your eyes because there's another one over here.
What?
Rook drops
What
his
you all
hood
want?
and says, maybe you should open your eyes because there's another one over here.
And what are you all doing here? Halbarad, what you doing bringing more back? More waifs and strays.
I've drunk wine that's older than you.
Ah, shut up, you elf.
Good one.
You're coming to
Took you all
my
day to
home.
think. Took you all
You're
day to
coming
think
to
of that
my
one.
home and you start talking like that to me.
This is
Your
your
home.
home.
And how many wars have you fought? How many battles have you fought?
I killed a troll.
A
Is
troll.
that
You killed a
I killed
troll?
20 of them.
Sure. You're not American anymore. You can't question me. Be quiet.
How'd you think I'm missing my arm?
I don't suppose it just got tired of being attached to you and walked off.
Aye.
Seems like everything else, like his arm.
This is why I don't like visitors. Just leave me be, Halbarad. Especially elves.
Oh, and here I thought that's what we were doing.
Now I want to poke at him so bad.
And who's this one? Another one of us? Ugh. You can leave as well. Go on.
Oh my God.
Halbarad is literally
You
like,
can go too.
Get out of here.
and he says, listen, old man, listen.
You talking
We'll
to me?
be here. Yeah, this is Halbarad.
Oh,
Like stepping between him and like the rest of you, and he's put his hand up and he's saying, "Listen, we'll spend the night here, and we'll be leaving as soon as we can. We've got to wait for Aragorn to come back. He's gone looking for one of their companions. Gone wandering off. Oh, another one. Oh,
Would he say that in a rude tone?
what other tone does this man have?
He better not. He better not be insulting America.
no, just exasperated sort of. He's. You can tell that Halbrad does not want to be having this conversation with this old man. In fact, you can all give me insight checks. Damrod, you can. This will be at advantage for you.
I'm gonna use my. I'm gonna use my inspiration because that's not good enough.
Amoy is such a cool name.
Damn it! We're really slow.
Damrod, with how this old man is talking to your father, and with his age and where he's at, this can only be Talendil, who was the previous first marshal before your father. He was the one that was in charge. So during the time as when Aragorn and Halbarad and Aurelion went off to Eregion to do their little task, the one that was like basically the one that was leading the Rangers at that time is this guy, Talendil. Everything you know about him is that he's always been gruff and harsh and I don't want to say bitter, but yeah, let's say bitter. But he led the Rangers well. It was in a battle where he lost his arm that he effectively retired. Now, when Rangers retire, they usually return home to the Angle, where the rest of the Ranger community is, and you just retire. This guy, though, he has no family to retire to, so instead, he designated himself the Warden of the North Downs, and this is where he retired to.
I think that Damrod puts all this together and gathers who he is, and I think he steps over in front of him, and I don't know enough about the Rangers or anything like that to know if there's a sign of respect that they show their leaders or captains. Like some cultures bow to kings and things like that, but he would do whatever gesture if there's a gesture that shows the utmost respect.
Yeah.
For it, maybe reserved for like lower royalty in a way. Not quite what he would do for Aragorn, the captain or whatever, but a sign of respect of an elder, a commander. And he would introduce himself. Um, I'm Damrod, Iron Arm, son of Halbarad. We merely need a place to rest. We had a long journey to get here and lost one of our companions on the way. We just need to recover ourselves and we will not bother your halls any longer.
Give me a traditions roll. This will be at advantage.
Oh, good. I have 0 in that.
There we go.
Not bad.
Sometimes zero's all right. Yeah, sometimes zero's okay. Yeah, and now give me a persuasion check.
I'm a character that's trying to restore lost history of my people, but I have 0 in tradition.
No, what the heck, man? Wasn't that
No,
wisdom?
yeah, because that's law and history. I mean, I did say persuasion, but we'll just take the 3 off that. Yeah,
I can
no,
I
that's
can
all
roll
right. That's fine.
persuasion.
No, that's all right. That's fine.
I mean, I got a +9 in persuasion instead of a +3. If that,
Who do you think you are, Rook?
I mean, I do.
You got a +9 in persuasion.
Oh, no, I'm dumb. I can't
Yeah,
read. I'm
check
reading
him out. I'm
perception.
the only +9 in
There
this
we go.
entire
There's
game.
my There's my persuasion roll.
Oh,
Okay.
All of a sudden, he said no, keep it. And you're like, we'll roll another one.
He he stops and looks at you, like stops his ranting, looks at you. Iron Arm, you called yourself? Well, that's a pretentious name if ever I heard one.
And as soon as he says that, it's still with respect, but it's also kind of like a little showy. He does the Captain America thing that he does when he holds his shield up, but he's holding his iron arm out.
of course it's Captain America, you dork.
He after saying what he did, he takes the book that he was holding, and he sort of throws it onto the chair that he was sitting at, and he turns as if to walk out, and then he stops when he sees your arm, and he squints. Here, let me have a look at that, young'un. Damsel, was it?
Dang.
Halbarad sort of just like rubs his temples.
Dang.
Do you let him examine it?
I mean, is he wanting to examine it on my arm, or is he wanting to take it off? Like,
Yeah,
what are we
he
talking
basically
here?
wants to take your arm, not like take your arm off, but like extend your arm
This
out
is
so he
mine
can-
now.
Yeah. He basically wants to basically examine it while it's on your arm. You're not gonna take it off your arm.
Yeah, no. I mean, to be honest, Damrod has let just about anybody that wants to examine / admire this examine or admire this.
And this is the first.
Yeah.
This is the first person that's taken him up on the offer. Okay.
Yeah, he steps over and he's like pulling your arm a little bit and twisting it a little bit. Do you know what you have here? Where did you find it?
And Damrod will tell the story of how he found the iron arm.
He spits on the floor. Trolls. Do you know what this is?
It's an old sleeve of our people.
Yeah, of our people. This was once part of what the guards of the king would wear.
Oh, now I'm interested.
This would be a part of a full suit of armor. Breastplate, helm, greaves.
Did Damrod know that? Because I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, I think you did know it. That's why it's called Ar Tidith. Tidith meaning guard, and Ar meaning royal.
Well, I mean that it was like part of a full set of art. Like obviously, I knew there was another arm to go with it, but would I
Yeah,
have known that there's like it's a full set?
yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay, well then, yeah, I think Damrod would kind of excitedly throw out there that he's looking slash hoping to find more pieces.
You'll be lucky. Most of it would have been plundered when the old kingdom fell. Maybe luck might be on your side if you found this in a troll's possession. Although, and he's again having a real good look, twisting your arm some more. The craftsmanship could have been done better. A bit shoddy. I mean, it's not bad. It's not as bad as what he's saying, but shame. But it's good to see that something of the past has been found. Give me an insight check again, Damrod.
I think that while I'm rolling that, I think Damrod kind of like relays a short version of the story of having it repaired and how it was just a leather worker near Bree, and like this is the best work that he could do. But also mention that that Damrod would mention that he's looking for someone that can ply their craft better, a little better, and to restore it to closer to its former glory.
Um, yeah. With a 12, you're possibly getting the sense that he also has an interest similar to yourself. Um, that he has an interest in the past, relics of the past, old things.
Have we found anything else that wasn't known? I know we have found some ruins and statues and things like that, but I don't remember if we found anything that wasn't known um before, like wasn't known by the public or whatever.
The Black Barrow was pretty well hidden.
I think then with Damrod noticing this about this man, I think once again Damrod would launch into the stories of their travels where they've found these different historical sites and been to these different ruins and places, the ones that pertain to the Dunedain themselves, probably leaving out like the reasons um
Yeah.
for their quests where he can, at least the main reason, um but just relaying some of the stuff he's found and history he's seen in in the in like the last few months of journeying. I think too he starts to talk about Marikar and starts to talk about like the history that he's mentioned to Marikar and tried to teach to Marikar. Not like just kind of describing that he's passed some of this history on to someone else.
Um, you he doesn't say much, which actually you feel is maybe a good thing. Because he hasn't really said much other than just moaning and grumbling about everything so far. And eventually he sort of grunts and just like shoves your arm away from him, and he turns and walks towards the door. And he, before leaving, he'll stop and say, "You can have one night, then get you gone, all here."
We bow to your generosity.
Take as long as I want.
Yeah.
Damrod absolutely coughs or something over the top of whatever smart aleck remarks were coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was probably just out the door when Aurelian was responding. However, Halbarad comes and steps alongside you
What a douche.
as he also watches him go out the door, and he gives you a big slap on the back, Damrod, and says, "I think he liked you." And he walks out after him,
He did not.
leaving the four of you alone in what looks like a study. Some books lying around.
I'm gonna
think-
grab one of them.
I think Damrod just finds the nearest somewhat comfortable chair and just collapses in it at this point. I think that the journey here, the lack of sleep the night before, and then that conversation just kind of I think the exhaustion and all of that hits him now that there's a moment of peace. And he just kind of collapses into a chair.
Of all the foes you've slain, that is perhaps the most egregious one.
Well, at least that one didn't come to blows.
Might as well have something go right. Nothing else
can
has.
I imagine Rook and Amlife have struck up their pipes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we over here puffing, talking. I mean, Amalith would be trying to like share war stories and stuff, and you can get the sense that he thoroughly enjoys battle, not in like a psychotic sense.
No, in a
but-
completely normal sense, Nate.
Well, yeah, and like in a sense of like it's just there's no thrill, like being in a battle kind of feel.
This guy's got issues.
He's one of those guys.
Meanwhile, you got Rook over here like, I've been in 6 fights in my whole life.
And I won them all. I won them all.
Have you? We had several of them had to run away.
Well, had somebody not trying to save a traitor early on, it wouldn't have happened. That one wouldn't have happened. Actually, that happened twice.
What was the
Trying to
second
save
time?
somebody who didn't need to be saved.
Who was this? Who was the other one?
I have to go back and look at my notes.
I
saved
have to look, but
America.
I'm sure it happened.
It happened somewhere. I know it did.
Shut up, Nate. You shut up. You don't say things like that.
Come out. You're not America anymore.
I think that Damrod, at some point after a couple of minutes, if there's not any kind of like food or drink on the table, he would go see if there is any before digging into their rations. Because I think that Damrod is probably I think Damrod's stomach's probably growling at this point.
Yeah, you can go and find some rabbit stew. Yeah, no, we'll say some mutton stew that's in a big pot. Is there anything that anyone would like to talk about? before we finish for the night?
No.
No, I think Amlath is just kind of hanging out and trying to see what the vibe is with these new folk. So he's
Uh,
probably hanging out and trying not to be too much.
I already
Um,
mentioned Aurelian's breeding.
Amlaith has perhaps never met an elf.
Ooh, yeah. So he'd definitely be talking about that. He's got like a weird, like, he seems super intrusive, but you can get the sense that he generally doesn't mean to be so abrasive. Like he'll ask you like, "Oh, do you ever get your ears caught on anything?" Because like they're different, and it's like it's pure ignorance and just like curiosity. And then he would like just tell you random, not random, but like too intimate stories about like, not like intimate, but like things like, he's got, this one time he had like a foot fungus that he had to get picked out, little things like that.
With a knife.
Like he's just, as far as he's concerned, everyone he meets is his best friend. He can't keep a secret.
America reincarnated, got it.
Oh no, we just showed that we were elves in front of someone who can't keep a secret.
Oh,
What
he
did we
cannot
do?
keep a secret.
Oh no.
well. Oh well.
I thought it was fine because these
Why
guys are
dwell on
around Aragorn.
Nah.
Yeah, effectively, Amlaith turned up, and then like Halbarad and Aragorn left almost straight away because they'd heard the rumors of you guys like making your way from the marsh, the Midwater Marsh, seeing your campfire. And so they had no time actually here with him really, and he'd come all the way here to speak to them. And then like by the time he got here, they left. And then so he's been waiting around for like Halbarad and Aragorn to come back, but then Aragorn's not come back. It's like
I mean, I need both of them. He would definitely ask about how cool Marikar is because he sounds really cool. If you guys are so worried about him,
Too soon, man. Too soon to be talking about America.
He tried to murder us for one.
I mean, it's probably your fault.
Excuse me.
You don't even know us.
No, that he wouldn't say that.
Okay.
No,
I mean,
he wouldn't say that.
he's just witnessed the elves talking really bad to some old guy whose house they've just walked into.
You know it's
Yeah,
his house. He said this is this guy's house.
he would keep puffing, but he'd kind of make his rounds and just get to know each other for the night. But yeah, he's gonna be waiting to talk any business until Aragorn gets here. But he's definitely kind of like trying to schmooze and be buddy with Hammerdown.
I think that at some point, I imagine that Damrod's just kind of sat in a chair away from wherever Rook and Amlath were smoking. Not in the same room, but just kind of letting them do their thing. And I imagine at some point Damrod tries to catch Aurelion's attention while Rook and Amlath are swapping stories and kind of like caught up in conversation. And I think that Damrod probably heard Aurelion ask about coming here and waiting for word of Marikar and Aragorn coming back, and I think that Damrod would ask Aurelion, what is your plans or your foreseen outcome if Aragorn brings Marikar back?
Well, of course, we're going to figure out why he left. We're going to make sure he's not spreading any words that he shouldn't be. From there, I don't know. Your father might have to take him to a Dunedain stronghold if he's going to be difficult.
I I don't think that I don't think that Marikar is a problem in a way that he's working against us intentionally. I think that, and Damrod kind of like looks down at the table they're sitting at, or looks down at the floor or whatever, and kind of like puts his hands in front of him and just stares at the palms of his open hands for a minute, and then closes his fists. I think that Marikar left because of me.
Because of you.
After what happened, I talked to Marikar and I told him that he needed to decide whether he wanted to stay and continue on this quest with us and potentially have more shadow piled upon him, or whether he
You
wanted
knew
to
his
leave.
mind was fragile. You knew he would leave. Why didn't you say something beforehand?
I told him that he needs to make sure that if he stays with this group and this party, that he's committed to our end goal. That he doesn't stay with us just because he gave his word or just because he agreed to help. That he had to make sure that he was okay before he ventured any farther with us.
Well, then if he left on his own accord, then there's simply nothing we can do.
He was given the chance to stay with us. He decided not to.
Yes, that I believe that's why he left, but that's not my main concern. My main concern is what happens if he comes back. If he comes back, we can't continue on the way that we were last night and with what happened with the
That was
undead.
all him.
So what are
I
you
agree with you, Miss
suggesting?
Sue.
That we just forgive the fact that he attacked me outright?
You see some anger flare in Damrod's eyes, but before he can speak anything, he tamps it back down. I'm I'm not saying that we ignore anything or pretend like or forgive or forcing anyone to do anything based on what happened that night. But what I am saying is that if he does come back, that we not be at each other's throats. That we either sit and talk and work this out and figure out how to move forward together, or we decide that we are going to separate paths and we send each other on, whether it's you, Rook, and I, or the three of us together, and Marikar going off on his own, or going with the Ranger somewhere, or whatever he chooses to do. That we do that with our sense of fellowship intact again, not
And you,
looking to murder each other or do whatever you do with people's minds, not looking to have Marikar's axe buried in anyone's backs or anything. We've all been through too much together to continue on the way we are now, or to even
I can
part the way we are now.
I can be cordial, but he attacks Aurelion again. I will kill him.
elves don't murder, they protect themselves. I'm not going to attempt to kill him as long as he doesn't attempt to kill me or Rook. I suppose you can be included in that as well.
I'm by no means asking for you not to defend yourself if Marikar goes off the rails, but if he does come back and he does try to join our fellowship again, all of that I ask is that we try our best and put forth a conscious effort not to be in that place again. If
Rook
there's a
nods.
problem, we attempt to fix it before it gets to the point of arrows and axes and elven magic.
Well, I won't attack unprovoked, is all I will guarantee. I won't guarantee that I will forgive him for what he's done or that I will give him my back or
No,
anything of the sort.
I miss the days when honey cakes and watching Rook and Marikar wrestle and play with each other's wood.
I never played with his wood.
And I think that at that, Damrod gets up and leaves the room.
As you're going out, Aurelian will say, those were days that we were ignorant of the shadow and Middle Earth, that they were ignorant. They're aware of what this task will entail. They're not children.
Damrod stops in the doorway at that. We weren't all ignorant of the shadow. We weren't necessarily carrying the shadow. Marikar was ignorant of the shadow, yes. And now we've brought that shadow. I've brought that shadow upon him.
It's not necessarily all your fault. And he will just he's not even looking at you. He's just turning the page. He's very clearly still reading. His eyes are going across the page, but he's also multitasking. You're not the reason that he's out here.
You just hear that release of air kind of sigh/chuckle thing that people do come from Damrod as he steps out the doorway.
I think at that we will end today's session.
Good spot.
Mm-hmm.
With
Really
some
good spot.
ups and downs. I would say we'll pick up in 2 weeks, but who
Will
knows
we?
how long? Hopefully, it won't be as long as last time, and we can pick back up next time.
Missed our viewers.
We are going to try to pick back up in 2 weeks, unless somebody has things going on that I am not aware
Yeah,
of.
Nathan.
I'm hoping that
Nathan.
work is going to be better for right now. I mean, it has been the last couple weeks, but you never know.
We will have a session 0 planned, I believe, on Charlie's channel soon.
As soon as we can get everybody around and everybody's schedules line up perfectly, we will be doing a session 0 / I guess you could say sound check. It's gonna be basically all the OBS and the Twitch and making sure everything's running right. That's gonna be mainly what that's focused towards. But it will still be a session 0, and I still have something I want to put you guys through in said session.
Sounds good to me. You other two famous streamers got anything going on?
Nate, what are you going on?
Lately a whole lot of nothing but my day job.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Check
had like every manager but myself and one other person quit within the same week. So it is an absolute mess at the store, and we've had a bunch of corporate visits and all kinds of shit. Yeah, so it's been some good paychecks.
Yeah, I bet. That's the only good thing that comes out of stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, and I gotta make hay while the sun shines.
Mm-hmm.
Feel that.
But yeah, I got nothing too much going on.
What about you, Ray?
Well, I'm just doing the same old, playing video games. But you guys may know, if you guys watch my VTube stuff, you would know that I am all about cringe. And I am doing something called Cringe Corner that I hope to do on this coming Tuesday. It'll be the first one with my friend Chris. We're just going to be watching some bad stuff. Our first episode is going to be us watching Neon Neko Sugar Girls, which is a terrible fan-made anime from the early 2000s, and I'm so excited. It's so bad. I love it.
Sounds awful.
Yes.
Sounds cringy.
It's so cringy. I love cringy
Terrible.
stuff. It's so fun.
How they do it makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
Hey, it makes for good content, Charlie.
Yeah, it does. That stuff makes for good content.
All right. Well, yeah. Unless anybody else
You
has
got
anything else
anything
to say.
going on, Dimension?
Yeah, what do you got, Nathan?
So last week was the first week testing a new streaming schedule. It went pretty well. I didn't stream Saturday, um, like I was planning to. We didn't do Fallout 76 with Jarl and them, so I hung out with my nephew instead. Nephew's 10, and he's been like begging me to play some video games and stuff with him, so he came over and I hung out with him Saturday instead. But so far we've been able to stick to the streaming schedule other than that day. So we're gonna continue on with that. If that is something that continues on, then tomorrow night we will either be playing more Witcher 3 or we'll be doing some survival games with Jarl and Dumpcraw. I play survival games with the State of Survival podcast crew on Thursday nights, usually when they're able to do it. I know there's been a lot of cancellations recently, so like that's kind of why I said I'll either be doing survival games Thursday night or I'll be doing more Witcher 3. And then Saturday we should be doing either more Witcher 3 or we'll be doing Fallout 76 with Jarl and Jazzy and like 4 other people.
Ooh, Fallout 76. Ooh.
Hey, it's been pretty fun. We usually have Puppyatron, we usually have
Okay,
Pika
Puppy can
Blue,
make anything
we
fun.
usually have Jarl, and we usually have Jazz. And we did like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. We did an event that was pretty cool. So I never know what we're gonna get into when we get in there, because sometimes we just all kind of go off and do our own missions and then meet up when we need help for stuff or whatever. And sometimes you're always like, hey, you guys are level 30 and we're level 50. Come over here so we can pull a level 50 monster and y'all can fight it. So yeah, there's some fun times with that. And then the same thing next week. Next Tuesday, I'll be over on Erasmus Expeditions. Though we should be doing our next session of our Caldera game. We had to push it this week due to scheduling conflicts, but I think we'll be back in it next Tuesday. That game is so much fun. We have such a strange group. So Jeremy titled it Thunder Ridge, but we're trying to get him to change the name to Furry Ridge because we're all playing
Nice.
some type of animal. We've got an alkin, we've got like some kind of mouse. I'm a coyote. We've got a vulture, and we've got like a rabbit that's in basically he's an artificer, so he's in like some kind of mech suit. But the rabbit's missing an ear and one leg and one arm. It's all crazy. It's so much fun. Set in a Western style setting. My guy throws knives. It's great. It's fantastic.
Nice.
So that's what I got going on. I'll be back tomorrow night, one way or the other for one of the two things.
Gotta be lurking.
As long as everything goes according to plan. Maybe if I play The Witcher tomorrow night, I'll have a lot less glitches because it's been glitching on me like crazy for some reason. It's been ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I got going on. Hey Kevin, what do you got streaming coming up?
I am streaming nothing, unfortunately.
He's streaming Shogun on Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I recommend. I've enjoyed that so far. What else? Solo leveling. I've enjoyed that.
Game tomorrow.
Yeah, game tomorrow, Charlie.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I am looking forward to Charlie's game getting going.
I am
Excited.
too, guys. I know I wanted to have it done way sooner, but this life.
This whole life thing.
Life
Yeah.
comes first, man. Life comes first.
Yeah, it's true.
We can't get here if we don't deal with life first, so it is what it is. But yeah, I think that's it for me, guys. In like I said, unless you guys got anything else,
Nope.
I think we'll call it a night, and I'll be back tomorrow. And we're gonna do our best not to wait another month to do this again. So yeah, keep your eyes out on the Discord. That's where we announce when we're going live. I usually try to do it at least 30 minutes before we go live. So there's the link in chat, and you can join there and
If
keep
you
an eye out
guys
for the live.
don't have me on Discord yet, Underground Tavern 07 is officially up on Twitch and Discord. Many things to come. And that's all I got.
Right, all right. I'm excited. Hang out for just a few minutes, guys. We're gonna go ahead and head over and raid Puppyatron. You'll get some extra channel points if you hang out for the raid. All I ask is if you have 5 minutes, give that streamer 5 minutes. I don't really ask you to chat if you don't feel like it, to follow or to subscribe. All I ask is if you got 5 minutes, give the streamer 5 minutes. You might find something you enjoy. You might find somebody you want to chat with, you want to follow, or you want to subscribe to. We'll see you all in another dimension.